Hi guys, and welcome to another Random Patterns review. This time I'm going to review some stuff that I've basically been collecting a little bit over time that I've got from various places like Artemis Blacks, which for those of you who don't know is sort of kind of run in conjunction with Hassle Free. So you go on the Hassle Free website, I think it's on the right hand side if you look, there's a drop down menu for Artemis Blacks. There's always a kind of combined stand at Salute, so I sometimes pick up bits from there. I also picked up other bits from local shops, one of which is no longer open, unfortunately. So what I'm looking at today is some Infinity stuff. Now, I've never played Infinity, so the main reason for me buying these figures is because I like the look of them. And a couple of others were Damien behind Artemis Blacks gave me one to go in the comparison lineup, some of the older school ones, but obviously that was part of the reason why I was going to look at these, is that they've changed the scale a bit. Now, I did buy one from a local store because I liked him, which is this guy. And he was really my purchase for the lineup. He's cool, and I haven't painted him yet, which I really need to do. He's got like a kind of a, you can see that Magnum style pistol, and it's either a Magnum or a Rex or something like that, and a nice axe. He's obviously looking to cut wood after getting rid of people on his property, I guess. Haha. But yeah, so when I went back, they were in a sale because the shop was closing. I kind of always like the idea of maybe putting together like a sci-fi Yakuza kind of style gang. I know that Urban War has them and things like that. Yeah, so I just got a couple of other minis from that kind of range to add to this. I saw he was, I think it was like £3.50 or something, because I think it was like 50% off, and he looks quite cool. The pose is quite nice, and he kind of suits that role. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use him in a gang yet. I haven't got round to building that gang, so that's why he's probably still in his box. He comes in a couple of pieces, so there's two halves, the top half, bottom half, then his hand with the sword, and so that arm with the sword, and then that arm with the sheath. So it's kind of like, it's quite complex looking at it, and the pieces are quite small, which might be another reason why I haven't yet put them together, but I'm sure I will do in the not so distant future. This one is kind of a fave of mine. He's cool. Now I think they're a kind of like Infinity style beast he's got there, but I think it's really cool how it's quite casual. I believe you can assemble the figures separately, so you can have the beast and you can have him separately, which is probably what I'll do, which enables you to have the thing run off, and obviously I'll use him as some sort of sci-fi guard of some sort. Again, he's, in terms of size, for those of you that see the usual lineups, they're very similar in size. So these guys are going to be quite a bit heftier than your Cobblestone, for example, Future War stuff, which is why I'm not getting too many of them, because they are a head and shoulders taller. So Cobblestone is like maybe 28, and you're talking about the new Infinity models being probably pushing 35. I mean, if I put him down, yeah, top of his head is hitting about 35mm. You'll hear me say this time and time again. I really dislike it when they say 32mm to the eyes. Who measures to the eyes? That's crazy, right? Like when you go in and you have a health checkup or something, or the doctor wants to measure your height, they don't go, oh yeah, you're 5'6" to your eyes. They measure you to the top of your freaking head, and that's the same with scale. If people are talking about scale, it's the top of the head. So whoever brought in the crazy idea of measuring to the eyes is utterly stupid. It's a con to make people, when people hear it, oh, it's 32mm, they go, oh, it's going to fit, that'll be fine, and then they get the figure and it's actually 35. That's where it is. It's a bit of a con, and I think, from my perspective, I really hate it when I see it. So moving on from my little rant, these are older school Infinity. As you can tell by the design of the labels, that's the new style Infinity label, that's the old style Infinity label. Strangely, some places have different pricing because they're trying to shift the old stuff, which I presume is because it's got the old cards. I don't know if the cards are the same, and the old packaging. Yet some of the figures haven't changed. There's been no replacement to them yet. So this is all cool. This one is a Pan-Oceania Fusilier with HMG. Not really sure how I'm going to incorporate that into any of my forces, but we'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And this is a Line Cossack with an HMG. I have to say, if the two sort of, well, I think the main faction that I would collect if I played it is Ariadna, which is what I think. Have a look. Yeah, that's basically these three are all from. Now, scale-wise again, this one is far more, in fact it is, as he throws the cobblestone figure on the floor, it's far more in line with your traditional 28s, or 32s, or whichever sort of direction you're calling it, because 28s have crept a bit. But as you can see, if I can get my arms to it, they're a bit small for the new one. So mixing and matching, not really possible. Which is another sort of peeve of wargamers. You've invested in over a few years in a range of figures, and then they do a new version of the rules, which is cool. I think updating rules is always good. You can always make rules better, I think, even if it's adding scenarios or tweaking certain things or changing them slightly to make it play more how you intended it in the first place. You know, there's always something in the rules that you can change. But people have a real pet bug when it comes to, I mean, I don't think it's a pet bug, I just think it's fair enough. These figures are genuinely, I don't think there's any debate, they are better in terms of style, they're more realistic than the older Infinity models in general. But the difficulty is they're bigger. So you can't even mix and match. Even if you were to like, well, I like some of those new Infinity figures and I want to add them to my old force, they're so much taller. I mean, if you took this, sort of the old ones as being average height of about, say, I think somewhere between 5'8" and 5'10" is typical sort of average height around the world. So if you took them as being average 5'8", 5'10" figures, these guys are like a whole head and shoulders taller. So you're talking about another foot. These guys are all giants. They're like 6'7", 6'6", something crazy like that. And you can have maybe one of those. So I could get, you know, this guy is big. That's fine. You can have that guy as a big guy in your force. Although obviously the axe becomes huge, as does the pistol, which is then becomes the sort of size of somebody's forearm. Or the dog guy. That's, you know, that kind of works. One of them maybe. But when you're talking about having to try and mix and match several, and perhaps new units and things like that, it's just crazy. So for me, I honestly don't know why. I mean, I suppose Infinity have gone for this, or Corvus Belli have gone for this, because it makes the figures up there with the kind of almost like the display scale, painting scale figures, where they're bigger, you can pack in more detail to the paint jobs. I think it's Angel Heraldez that does the painting for Infinity, and I know that he does quite a bit with this, like with a airbrush. And again, I think if the figure is bigger, that's going to be easier. Now, it makes for beautiful figures, but I'd be interested to know what Infinity players think of the change in scale. And like I say, the weird thing is there's still some of the old figures in the ranges that haven't been replaced with new units yet, or new sculpts. So you've still got a mix of guys that big with the older sculpts. Weird. But like I say, very, very nice figures. I know you don't need loads of them to play a game. So price-wise, people will argue and debate. You know, £13 for essentially two figures is like $6.50 each. Some people might argue that. It's the same with like £7 for a single figure. They might point out that places like Hassle Free and the like of the ilk of Hassle Free are charging sort of like maybe between £5 and £6 a figure, and arguably as much as good detail in a slightly smaller figure. But you know, like the complexity, like what I don't see in that guy any reason as to why, because the pose looks very flat to me, so I'm not sure why. I know that the handle's going to stick out a bit, but surely in the sculpting progress, if that's the pose, why does it need to be in like 4 different pieces? That's kind of crazy to me. Anyway, I shall build those at some point and get round to it. Probably the older one first, because he'll fit the Ariadne guy. Is it a guy? I think it is. Will fit in nicely with the resistance fighters that I'm doing, and will probably fit nicely alongside the statuesque resistance fighters. But yeah, that's the Infinity that I've collected a little bit over the years, and now I can get them out of their blister packs so they don't take so much space and put them into my drawers of doom. Anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the scale creep. Let me know what you think about measuring to the eye or to the top of the head. You know, and let me know what you think generally about Infinity, the game, and the figures. Comments below, or come and join us on Random Platypus and join in the chat there. Cheers, guys. Catch you shortly with another one. Bye bye now.